So congratulations on your grant award. You did a very good essay. It kind of made me laugh because you mentioned how you'd meet someone and then you could pretty much walk by them the next day and not know who that person is. I definitely, I think a lot of people that have our disease can feel that constantly. But yeah, why don't you go ahead and start and give a little background of who you are and where you're from and when you first learned of your diagnosis with Stargardt's disease.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name's Joy Hast, and I grew up in a small little town called Kremlin, Colorado, up in the Rocky Mountains. I am the oldest of three, so I have a younger brother, and he's about 2 years younger than me, and then a younger sister. She's about 4 years, and we're all pretty close. My parents growing up really invested in us, especially spiritually. We were in church on Sundays. We did vacation Bible school, Awana. Just very thankful for my tight-knit family because I think that definitely was a big part of me working through the diagnosis and just all the different challenges that come along with it. My mom began homeschooling us when I was about in third grade. And so that definitely knit my siblings and I closer, and we really enjoyed that. And I really felt like that definitely helped me flourish, especially when I received my diagnosis, because I didn't have to struggle with some of the classroom stuff that other students might have struggled with, and just in a bigger school environment. The familiarity of home was really nice. So, I was diagnosed when I was about 12 years old, almost 13. My parents noticed I was holding books closer and closer to my face, and I didn't notice anything. I just was kind of accommodating the vision loss and not really realizing it. I remember the night before just being like, "Oh, Mom, I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want to go to an eye appointment because I was so scared I was going to get glasses." And it's kind of just ironic thinking about that, but went to the doctor, and that turned into two or three doctors. And eventually I landed in Dr. Alan Kamir's office at Colorado Retina Associates, and he gave me the diagnosis. So it actually didn't really hit me at first. I think I was more relieved than anything that I knew what was going on. I actually remember comforting my mom, who was crying on her way back up um, from the visit, our 2 hour drive home. And I don't think it hit me till that night. This was a really life altering event. And I spent the next couple years really struggling. My faith is a big part of my life. So I questioned uh, everything my parents had taught me, questioned my faith, questioned everything I thought I knew about God, and definitely struggled with depression and just being scared. I was about 13, so going into high school, while everyone else was like really excited about life and just all the future possibilities, I just felt so uncertain and so worried that my vision was going to change. If I had to pick like three or four things that I think really helped me, I would say first, God, second, my family for sure, and also my cousin and my best friend, Mary. She was one of the few people who kind of asked me questions about my vision and seemed interested, and she really just stuck to me like glue and is still one of the big advocates in my life. Um, and fourth, running for sure. I joined the track and field team my freshman year of high school to get to know people, to kind of prove to myself that I could do something and was still capable. And running really showed me that my physical body is still able to accomplish something. So going into college, I was able to continue running, and I'm really thankful for that. And yeah, it's just a little bit of where I am right now. So thank you.
Yeah, it's a great story. Congratulations, and I'm glad your family and your friends were very helpful. And I'm the oldest of seven, and I have the
Cool.
disease. And I have five sisters, and the youngest is a brother. And my youngest sister also has Stargardt's disease. I'm a bit older, so I'm 52 now, and My diagnosis, my parents saw stuff around second grade. I didn't get a diagnosis until I was about 18. And back then the technology didn't exist. That, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have the technology we did now. And actually, even at the time, the ADA laws had not passed. So
Wow.
I did notice a big difference. I was okay in high school, but like you, I was in a small school initially when I started, and the classrooms were maybe 20 people, and the classrooms weren't that big. I may have been 10 feet away from the chalkboard back then. But when I went to college, and you're sitting in these huge, more like auditorium theater type
Yes.
rooms, and there's hundreds of people in there, and the chalkboard is like, further away than the wing of my school. You realize right away, it's like, wow, I didn't realize how poor my eyesight was until I got in the environment, and all the other kids next to me and making notes, and I'm like, I can't see a thing he's writing.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it was also very difficult explaining to people who can see what we can't see. Um,
Yes, definitely.
and a lot of times it's like, well, I recognize people by their voice or by their silhouette, sometimes by
Yes.
the way they walk. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, someone walks up. I have, constantly misidentified people sometimes who come up and don't say anything, and they have a
Yeah.
silhouette that's very much like somebody else I know, and you have to take a
Yes.
second to realize who
Yes,
it is.
definitely done that before.
Yeah. What would you say is one of your biggest challenges that you've had with the Stargardt disease in your eyesight, and what steps and how did you overcome that challenge?
Yeah, so kind of jumping off what you were saying about recognizing people, I would say that is definitely the biggest challenge that I faced, is kind of building community and just getting to know people because I grew up in a small town and I don't think I realized what I couldn't see, and I don't think I realized that I couldn't really recognize people by their faces and their facial features and more details like that. So, uh, when I came to college, I had a cross country teammate finally say to me, like Joy, you can't recognize me till I'm like 5 or 6 feet away from you, like, and that's when it really hit me that wow, I can't recognize people, and that's why I'm struggling a little bit, and especially in the environment of a college where there's a lot of people, it's very overstimulating, a lot of large crowds in big classrooms. That's definitely challenging. And so once I realized that, I need to start articulating that and communicating to people what I can and can't see. And so I just really started trying to be more vocal about it, whether it was meeting someone or the first couple times I talked to them, I would try to just mention, like, hey, if I pass you on the sidewalk and I seem to ignore you, I'm not doing it on purpose. I just can't see you. I have a visual condition and I can't see really well. So I think that has been the biggest way and the best way to overcome that challenge. It's definitely still challenging, like you were saying, to communicate to people what you can and can't see, because at least for me, it changes depending on the amount of people in the room, the lighting, just where I know I am, and whether I can or can't recognize someone. So it can be hard to communicate that to uh, especially peers who, we're young, we're not used to like hearing people struggle with conditions like that, and Stargardt is not very well known. It's definitely challenging, but I think the biggest way and the best way that I've seen is just talking to people and being honest, and people are usually very understanding. So that's what I would say. It's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, it's great. It's great stories. It reminds me a lot of the challenges I've gone through.
Mhm.
For those who are learning about the disease, or for those that have a loved one that's experienced, just to explain a little bit of what Stargardt's is very much like macular degeneration in a way, but you'll find it in younger people. It starts happening during puberty, where it scars
Mhm.
the macula, which is your central vision. So for people like us, if we were to look straight ahead, dead on detailed vision, it's like black. It's just, you can't see anything. It's very difficult for us to even look dead on. It just, like, if you start to do it, it's almost like trancy. It's kind of freaky. So what happens?
Yeah.
We tend to look past things because we see everything with peripheral vision.
Yes. Yeah.
we're talking to you, but we're not looking at your eyes. We're sort of looking over your shoulder because that gives us a better range to see someone. Um,
Yep.
and some people, it is good. I'm glad you're advocating for yourself. I've had a hard time with that in the past, and I've learned. My
Mhm.
sister actually taught me quite a bit, but I never really advocated myself. I didn't. It wasn't that I was embarrassed or something like that. I guess I just didn't want special treatment, so I wouldn't say anything to anyone. But as I've gotten older and realized that it's more not alerting people of the disability is actually harder on me than it is if I did. So I do now have like a blind cane in my bag, and when I'm in bigger places or if I'm traveling in the airport, I'll use it. And it's for the most part, if I'm with someone, I can walk fine, but I'm alerting other people that I'm visually impaired. And what that does is
Yeah.
I have less people cutting me off with their luggage and me tripping over it and that type of stuff or bumping into me. Or if I go to a counter, a person realizes that I have a visual impairment. So that I think the blind cane helps with that.
Definitely.
And it's funny dealing with a lot of people who don't understand the disease. I find a lot of people think the blind people are deaf because they motion at you and they talk louder, and it's like I can hear you, I just can't see. So when you're
Yes.
waving, the TSA agent's waving you to come forward, like, dude, I have no idea that you're waving at me. I can't. And then
Yep.
or they talk louder, like I'm like I'm not deaf, I'm blind.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
um, how did you come across our organization? How did you hear about uh Stargardtians in our grant program?
Yeah. So I heard about it through my mom. We were looking for scholarships for people with low vision, for people with Stargardts. I had received a low vision grant just for people with low vision in general, but we were kind of looking for something specifically for someone with Stargardts. And so we put that in a search engine and your website popped up, and that's how we got to know about you guys. Yeah.
Great, great. Yeah, there is the Carroll Center. We have an annual summit. They did the first one last year, um, and they're doing another one this year. You can attend the summit online live, or you can watch the video after. But the Carroll Center is doing a summit where they bring up people. That's a good, it's good some information sharing. And I've learned a lot from the community of things that I didn't know before. I think one woman had explained, I'm always nervous, like cutting food with a sharp knife. And she had said, oh, I just have a glove that, I just can't really cut through the glove. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. And then
Yeah.
the oven sometimes is difficult because I think with our disease, lighter surfaces are easier dark surfaces, but taking something out of the oven, and someone had shown that they have these oven mitts that go past your elbow so you don't burn yourself. I was like, oh, that's great. So the oven mitts are
Yeah.
made for people that have vision problems. So I've actually learned quite a bit from the community. And what year of school are you in right now?
I'm a senior, so I'll be graduating in May.
Okay, good, good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any thoughts of what you're going to do after school?
Right now, I'm applying for a couple internships. I'm looking for jobs, organizations. It's usually in their marketing, PR department, something similar. Just writers for their content. So,
Okay,
yeah,
good, good. Um, Again, I started my career much earlier, so the internet didn't exist, but I've been pretty successful, even with the disease. I've owned multiple real estate properties and I have multiple businesses. And I started a not-for-profit organization. And I've been in investments and stuff, but I do
that's awesome. That's
I
really
do,
good.
do depend, my success is dependent on people like Jess, who helps me quite a bit, and my wife and stuff, and family assisting. But there's, certainly we will not be able to fly planes, but there is a lot of things that we can do.
Right.
Um, and the technology, if you're behind a computer, is great because you can zoom things up very well.
Absolutely. Yes.
If you have advice for people younger than you or even older than you that are dealing with this disease, what advice might you have for them?
Yes. So I would definitely say from personal experience, get into some sort of like physical activity, whether that's a sport, whether that's running like I do, if that's possible for you, or walking, or whether that's going to the gym or joining a workout class. I know that for me, once I saw that what my physical body I could do and still accomplish even with the visual impairment. I felt so much more confident about the rest of my life. And I know I've talked to and heard from other family members and friends and people who have Stargardts and similar just vision loss that they definitely credit their sports in general, physical activity, to their success and to their ability to just feel confident in themselves and feel capable. So I would say to anyone, whether younger or older, try to get involved in that. I know it can be hard for us, especially trying something new, but I really think that helped me. So that's what I would say.
Right, that's great advice. I think you're the third runner I've met with the disease. So it's
Really
yeah,
interesting.
I think one we met a couple of people. One does she's a pretty active marathon runner. And we're in Falmouth. We have the road race every year, so we'll send you information on that in case you want
Yes,
to
absolutely.
run and raise money. But we'd love to keep in touch with you. Yeah, very inspiring story. Wish you the best of luck, Joy, with your schooling. If you
Thank you.
have questions, you need any help, if you need assistance in the future, just definitely don't hesitate to reach out. And hopefully we'll get to
Thank you so much.
meet you in person at some point in time.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love that. It's always good to meet people in the community and just feel
Yeah.
like you're not alone. So